All the time I was growing up. All the time, folks. Just a kid. I'll never forget, I heard this term over and over and over and over again. You know what it is? Here's the term that I heard over and over and over again. Well, this is America. He can say what he wants to say. This is America. This is a free country. This is America. This is a free country. How many of you ever heard that when you were kids growing up? You don't hear that anymore. You don't hear it anymore. It's been taken away from us. But what did that mean, preacher? That meant that we had freedoms. We had certain freedoms. Freedom of speech. I remember when I was about 20 years old, a neo-Nazi group with their swastikas went to Skokie, Illinois. Now, if you don't know much about Skokie, Skokie is north of Chicago. Skokie, Illinois is a town up there that's inhabited by many Jews. Wealthy, many of them are wealthy Jews. My aunt lived there. She was married to an orthopedic surgeon. She lived in Skokie, Illinois, which was right north of Chicago. Now listen to me. We have this neo-Nazi group with their swastikas, and they paraded down the main street in Skokie, Illinois. Now, can you imagine what those Jews, some of them were Holocaust victims. Some of them had the tattoos on their arms, the numbers tattooed into their arm, where they had been in the concentration camps over there in Germany and in Poland. And they marched down the street. Now, listen, to me, that's horrible. That's horrible. That's horrendous. To walk down the street with a Nazi swastika in the face of these people. Some of them had lost their mothers and their fathers and their wives and their husbands and their children. And now to rub it in their face. Okay? But that's America. Did you get that? That's America. What do you mean, preacher? I mean, America had freedoms whether you liked it or not. And the freedom of speech is not speech that you like to hear. Acceptable speech has no meaning. Freedom of speech means that you have the freedom to say the stuff you don't want to hear. All across this country right now, all over these college campuses right now, they will not let a conservative come in and speak to those kids. They won't let them do it. And if you have seen a year or so back at Berkeley, California, they went out there and they set the place on fire, busted windows out, storefronts and all of that. And all of this was demonstration against freedom of speech. What's the point? The point is, they have brainwashed a whole generation of the new leaders of America. Because that's where they educate them, in these colleges. They have brainwashed a whole generation of the new leaders of America to despise and disdain freedom of speech. And they say, well, no, wait a minute. He has no right to speak hate speech. Oh, see how it goes? See how your mind is being manipulated? Where do you go to find the person who defines what hate speech is? What is hate speech? There are people in this country right now that would tell you that anything you preach out of the Bible is hate speech. Right? Are you following me tonight? It's hate speech. So what have you done? You have demonized the Scripture. But along with it, you have brainwashed a whole generation of young people into believing that your moral character is much higher than to allow somebody to preach hate speech. What have you done then? You've created a whole nation of automatons, a nation of robots, a nation that can be controlled like cattle. And all you need then is an electric prod to prod them here and there, and you'll move them exactly in the direction you want. So when the Antichrist does show up, they will embrace him, they will accept him, and they will take him in, and they'll worship him and fall at his feet. And I, in my short lifetime, and believe me, it's been short, in my short lifetime, I have watched a nation go from being the freest nation on this earth, with people saying things that I didn't like, but I said, this is America. And watched it progress to the point where it is today. And folks, if you young people can't see what I'm talking about, you have been robbed of the goodness of what America used to be all about.